Welcome to the Bella Vista Gardening Program. I'm Jerry Horner, and joining me today is Barb Templin, who's a fellow member of the Bella Vista Garden Club.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. I'm glad you could come. This month we're going to be talking about easy to grow and unusual houseplants. And since we're indoors mainly for the month of December, we'll be focusing on our houseplants probably. So, but you know, we haven't had winter yet. We don't know when winter's coming. It's been very, very warm, so we don't know when winter. Some people are still working outside. I know I am.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But we'll also be talking about a few things you need to do in December, and the
yard and garden ways.
Right. Right. Other than Christmas shopping and wrapping and baking, so we got to squeeze a few other things in. So we do have some very easy to grow plants, and everybody gets them. And they're the spider plant, the dragon tree, the corn plant, English ivy, Boston fern. They drop their leaves a little bit in the winter.
Yes.
But
and like I was saying, the Boston fern became very popular during the Victorian age.
Oh, yeah.
And if you didn't have a Boston fern back then, you were nobody.
You weren't royalty. So.
That's right.
Anyway, the philodendron, the Chinese evergreen, weeping fig, they're all
yes,
things that people usually have.
And the weeping fig, one of the things that the weeping fig does is
weep.
It drops its leaves,
right.
and.
Yeah. So the other things we do want to talk about is the unusual plants. I've done a little shopping, and we do have a lot of succulents out there. The succulents are getting very popular.
Very popular
and
now.
I did buy 2 of the little succulents. You can get them at the box stores or the nurseries. These are just 2 little ones I picked up. You can put those in a dish, a shallow dish, because they don't take a lot of water. The other thing
what kind of light do they like?
They like bright light. Yeah, they like bright light. They're succulents. They don't need a lot of water. You can tell their leaves are very thick, so they retain a lot of water in their leaves. So there's just a lot of varieties and different colors. There's some red ones and yellow.
Oh, and all different sizes.
And different sizes. A lot of them stay fairly small. So, but this one I picked up at a box store, and it's an air plant. I don't know if you can see it in there. Let me go this way with it. It's an air plant, and the plant doesn't need soil, and it doesn't need water. All you do is mist it with a little mister once a week. And
that's amazing.
There's a variety of those.
And what you have can be an ornament, right?
That can be an ornament on a tree or hanging from, a little hook or something, but it's just something different for the holidays. But these will last a long time, the air plants. There's a lot of them.
So do they grow and bloom?
They grow on trees, like in the tropics usually.
Oh, okay.
And they're like almost like a parasite plant, because you don't have to feed them. The other one I found was this pothos, and it's got like a velvety leaf.
Unusual.
Yeah, very unusual leaf and spotted, and it trails. And
so it's very much like a philodendron.
Yeah, and I have a hard time telling the difference between a philodendron and a pothos.
But I like the coloring.
The coloring is wonderful.
Yes,
they're spotty.
yes.
So I thought that was a real unusual leaf plant. And then the other one I found lately is this red and green one. I thought this would be great for Christmas in my foyer, in my atrium. And it's got red and green leaves.
Perfect for Christmas.
The only thing is, it was labeled as a aglaonomius. Well, that just means it's a greenhouse houseplant. It doesn't really have a name.
I didn't know that we had Latin for greenhouse plants.
Yeah, we don't, but that's what it said. So watch your labels, keep your little tags. When you get a plant with a tag, keep your tag. Let me put the tag here. Keep your tag. And it'll tell you the light it needs, the water it needs. It gives you information. So keep your little tags and just stow them away. But this one needs to be repotted. Some of the roots are showing, on the top of the soil. So it needs a little more soil. And it's actually in a pot. There's a pot inside the pot. And this outside pot doesn't have
decorative.
holes. The inside pot has holes for drainage. So you can't put a plant just in a pot without drainage because it'll just sit and the roots will just rot in the water. So the inside pot has drainage holes. So I would water this, take it to the sink, water it, let it drain out, and then put it back in the outside pot so it doesn't sit in water.
Yes.
So just don't water it in this pot. So that's a cute little Christmas plant.
And if you want to know more about your plant rather than what's on the tag, then you certainly can go on the internet and
You can do
look that
research
up
on the-
and
on-
find
just-
out.
Just Google it, like they say, just Google it.
Right, right.
The other thing you can do, if you have a large house plant that you don't want to move during the holidays, you can make that part of your decorations.
Oh, sure, that could be your Christmas tree.
Well, it could be your tree, or you could put ornaments in them, or sometimes you could take a stem or a twig from outside, spray it white or gold or silver, and put that in your plant, and make it like a little decoration. So if you don't want to move a big house plant, you can incorporate it into your Christmas decorating. So.
Right, that would be very festive.
And other items I have here. This is a Sansevieria. This is well, everybody has one probably.
But I
Or
think
their
so.
grandmother did.
I think so.
It's called
I
a
think it's a
mother-in-law's
rule.
tongue or snake plant. So it's very easy to grow. This one I didn't take out in the summer, and it needs a little more light.
But it's got a lot of new growth
It's got
in
so
it.
much new growth, and it'll be fine. Next winter the leaves will get wider. But this is the typical snake plant we talk about, or mother-in-law tongue. But the Sansevieria family has so many different plants. This one is also a Sansevieria, and it is the Henai Sansevieria. It's called bird's nest, and see, it's like a little bird's nest. And it doesn't take a lot of water, and it'll get little babies along the edge of it, and it'll
okay.
grow finally into like a little clump.
Now, this particular plant means a lot to you.
Well, this plant had been overwatered when I was out of town, and it had about 5 or 8 babies or clusters in there, and this is all that's left because it got overwatered. So this was from my mother. I got
Yes.
this from my mother, and she passed away about 20 years ago. But anyway, she had that for years. Now there's other Sansevieria that we have some photos of because there's a lot of varieties. Now this one is called the Henai Golden, and it
Look at
is
how
very
pretty
similar
that
to
is.
this little one I showed, but it's like a yellowy with the green trim, so it's very cute. And then the next one is the, let's see, the Twisted. So
Isn't
that has a
that
real
gorgeous?
unusual shape. So you can put a lot of unusual shapes in your houseplants. They don't have to be all upright or round leaves. I mean, this has got a really unusual shape. It'd be cute on the end of a table or in your kitchen.
What a conversation starter,
Yeah.
too.
And then there's also very small ones. This is a miniature. It's very small, and again, it's probably a slow grower. Might be good for a terrarium. Terrariums like
And
those.
terrariums are making a comeback,
And
too.
they're coming back, yes. We had a program about terrariums, and they are getting popular. This next one I thought was really unusual. It's called Braided, and you can see it's taped at the top. So as it grows, they
So they
braid
tape
the leaves together, and I've never seen anything like this. But it's something unusual you can do with your plant.
Right, right.
And it's just something interesting, just unusual. Then the next one we have is actually a pineapple.
Right. And you wouldn't normally think of a pineapple plant as something that you could grow at home. However, you can go to the grocery store, you can take your fresh pineapple, you can cut off the top, leave enough flesh so that the leaves stay on, and then let that set out and air dry until that flesh part has solidified or
Oh, you don't want to
healed
plant
over.
it right away. So
Nope.
you
And then when you go to plant it, you put it in about an inch of soil and
keep it
let
moist.
and let it take off. The interesting
You
thing
might get another.
the interesting thing about pineapple plants is, for one thing, they're part of the bromeliad family, and you can use it. I know that in South America, where they grow a lot of it, they can use the leaves as a anti-inflammatory and or a meat tenderizer.
Oh, okay.
So I'm not quite sure how
I don't know. I don't know
how
how
that
that
works,
works. I don't
but
know.
anyway, a pineapple plant requires bright light, moist soil, and it's just an unusual thing. Now, you probably won't be able to get fruit from it.
It'll take about 5 years, I
Yes,
think, to get a pineapple.
it'll
Take a while.
Right.
So,
And the next one we're all familiar with, the begonia, is
there's
one
a
that.
lot of varieties.
Oh
of
my
begonia
goodness
now.
sakes!
That
Yes,
This
yes.
is just one of them. They're just
So many different colors, so many different leaf shapes. I mean, it's amazing, and we're all used to having them out in our gardens in the summertime,
Yeah.
or our pots.
these are great house plants because they're
Right.
easy to take care of
Right.
too.
But there again, in South America, they can use the leaves to treat stomach aches.
Oh,
Or they can crush the leaves and soothe the gums of teething babies.
oh my goodness. There's so many
I've seen
medicinal
this.
purposes for house
Yes,
plants too.
yes. There again, the begonias require moderate to bright light, and adequate moisture.
Right.
And you have to have the right setting for almost all of these plants.
Well, it's just like outside. You have to put the right plant in the right place.
That's right.
Just
That's right.
experiment with your plants. If they're not doing well somewhere, they may need to be moved. But
Right,
once they
right.
find a happy place, they'll be happy.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. The next plant is the caladium.
Yeah.
And we're all familiar with that because a lot of us use that out in our summer gardens, potting and that sort of thing.
It's one of my favorite plants for outside. It's drought tolerant. I love
Yes,
it. But
yes.
I've never grown it indoors.
But I bet you didn't know that you can use the leaves to make love potions. Did
Oh,
you?
no, I didn't know about that.
How about that?
I love potions. Uh-oh.
Yeah. And you can make love potions and amulets, and it can be for treating fevers.
Oh.
Now, there again, most of these plants that we're talking about are tropicals.
Right.
So we're thinking, South America, that area, Ecuador,
So
down
it's hot
there.
and sunny.
And they have a lot of indigenous people, so that, they have to use the things
right.
that grow around them
Well,
for.
there's a lot of the plants that are used for actual medications. You buy them at the pharmacy too. So
Right.
they're plant-based.
Right. But here again, this comes in a variety of colors: white, pink, red, green, or a mixture of both.
That's pretty
so
good for Christmas.
it is. It is. There again,
then
you
there's
can
a-
add ornaments or something to it,
Right.
to make it part of your festive
And the
Christmas decor.
they have a white one with green spots. It's really pretty too.
Oh, I don't think
Yeah.
I've seen that
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
The
Now,
next one
one's-
is a calathea, and it comes again with a variety of color foliage, but it has alternating green colors on the top and the sides with red to purple undersides.
Right, and I have this plant.
Oh,
It's
do
in my-
you?
Yes, I do. I have this one. It's on the bottom of the leaf. It's like a maroon color.
Well, I bet you didn't know,
I probably didn't.
no, I'm sure, that if you boil the leaves in water, you can use it to treat mouth sores.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
So, I mean, done right.
Right.
Now, not being an indigenous person in South America, I don't know these, but
It's worth a try.
that's right.
It's worth a try.
But there's a common problem with this particular plant, and that is having the leaf tips brown
Right.
and the edges. And this is caused, most of us think of overwatering or,
Not enough water.
not enough water or that sort of thing. What it actually is the condition of the water. We have fluoride in our water.
Oh, that's right.
And the plant doesn't like fluoride.
So like distilled water.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So don't use tap water.
So I'll have to change to distilled water. in
Right.
the plant. Oh.
Right. But I thought that was
You
kind
know,
of.
you learn things every day. And
Yes.
That's with gardening. You learn and learn and learn.
That's right.
That's great.
That's right. The next plant is an elephant ear. Now, a lot of us have tried to grow elephant ears outside. Some of us are lucky.
Well-
Some of us, like Jerry, aren't
I
so lucky.
can't grow it outside, but I do have this plant also in my atrium.
Oh, Oh.
So this is another one I have.
Oh, okay.
And I put it outside on the patio for the summer and then bring it in the winter.
And you can
It's
see that it
wonderful.
adds a lot of different
Yeah.
variety of colors.
And the leaves could be,
are
you know,
just,
6 or 8 inches long. They're
Right,
long
right.
leaves. They're pretty.
they're also kind of called a taro plant.
Mm-hmm.
And part of the leaves and stems are edible, but I'm not sure which one. So don't go,
I'm not gonna
making
eat-
a salad out of it.
I'm not going to eat mine. No.
It likes light. It likes a lot of moisture. It's a heavy feeder, so you've got to fertilize it. And most of our plants, we don't really fertilize too much during the
No,
winter.
the house plants you don't really fertilize or water a lot in the winter.
Right,
So
right. But
this
this
one-
is, right, this is,
I'll have to feed it more.
right, right. Our next plant is the Thai plant. And this is from Hawaii. And the main use, of course, there again, it's tropical, but the main use is in the use of making the leis and that sort of thing.
So the flowers off of this plant.
Yes,
is what they
and the
use.
flowers and the leaves. And then once again, I bet you didn't know that this can be used for food preservation, the leaves, roof thatching, clothing.
That's quite an extreme one to the other.
Yes, yes. I've got a, they hardly ever bear fruit.
Oh.
And they hardly ever flower when they're grown indoors.
Oh, I see. So they
So-
have to be outside to,
Right,
to grow those
right.
flowers. Okay.
And there again, it likes bright light, but don't put it near a draft.
Okay.
It doesn't like,
Doesn't like drafts.
no. But it does come in a variety of colors, which is hot pink, dark purple, or green.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe the plant I showed that with the green and red earlier may be in the Thai family.
Oh, that's right,
It
yes.
could be.
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
It's not marked.
The next one is the sago palm, and I'm sure that you've been through the big box stores and you've seen these guys.
And usually just walk right by them
Uh,
because
right.
I don't live in Florida here, so I wouldn't have that in my house. So.
Right, right. And you can see that the plant might take up some sizable space in your
Right.
house. So you've got to have the right spot for it. But it's not a palm tree. It's a evergreen tree. It's a conifer, so it's an evergreen tree. And most people, I didn't know that, but most people know that. But I bet that you didn't know that the needles are used for treating cancer, rheumatism. However, you got to know
let
what
the
you
pharmacist take
Yes,
care of that.
yeah. You got to know what you're doing. So
Right.
don't go,
But it's just the name sago palm. You just assume it's a palm tree and not an evergreen conifer.
Right,
So,
right. And because it resembles a palm tree.
Right.
But when you really look at it, those are needles. They're not really palm fronds.
Right.
So to grow indoors, you want to provide it with bright light and adequate moisture, like most of them. And without the bright light, the growth will start to get a little spindly. So
Oh, yeah.
our next plant is, once again, a beautiful plant. It's the mosaic plant. And the most interesting thing here, again, it's a tropical plant.
And there's a lot of varieties of this.
Right. But when you look at it, the reason it's called a mosaic plant is because it looks like mosaic tiles. Each leaf is
Yeah.
so that's how it gets it's a deeply defined leaf veins. And they are etched with pink, white, or green. So it kind of also, some people say it resembles stained glass, or, but an infusion of these leaves, once again, something you probably didn't know, are used in native people in Ecuador to relieve toothaches.
Oh.
So, but this is a petite plant. It only reaches 3 to 6 inches tall. and can be used in the terrariums that we were talking about.
Or just a little corner, it'll brighten up a little corner. That would be great.
But a lot of people, if you're into bonsai trees and bonsai growing, it can be coupled with bonsai growing. So, and it likes a lot of moisture in the air. So in the wintertime, you know,
So you may mist it or something.
Right.
After you mist your air plant, you can
Right.
just go mist your mosaic.
Right.
Right.
Right. Or keep it in a place where you know you're going to have humidity, you know, kind of thing.
Like a bathroom or kitchen.
Right.
You have more humidity there.
Our next plant is a Swiss cheese plant.
That's the
Aptly
the
named.
banana plant.
That's the banana plant.
That's banana plant.
So if we could show the Swiss cheese plant.
That's the next one. You can grow a banana in your house, but
Well,
it takes a lot of
yes.
room. It
Yes.
does take a lot of room.
Yes. The banana plant is probably the largest fruit crop of the world.
Right.
And the various parts of the banana, you can make fiber out of them. You can use them for a lot of different varieties. But to grow indoors, it needs, again, a lot of bright light, moderate moisture, and once again, these are heavy feeders, so they need to be fertilized routinely through the winter time. And here again, because if you look at the size of the leaves, it's a large plant, and it
right.
can grow really large. My neighbor grows them in front of his house to the point in the summertime where you can't even see his house, which I think is probably the
Take
point.
over. Right.
So, yeah. Then our next plant is the Swiss cheese plant, and it's very aptly named. For one thing, you look at it and you think, oh my God, what bugs got into my
Looks like
plant?
it's bud-ridden, right?
But it does. But that's a healthy Swiss cheese plant.
Right.
And it comes that way, and nothing says more tropical than this particular plant. And it does produce an edible fruit, but not very often. And what it tastes like is a combination of a banana, a mango, and a pineapple. Now, I think that'd be kind of tasty.
That would be good. I
Yeah,
haven't seen
that'd be
that
kinda
fruit
tasty.
anywhere.
It's also used as an anti-inflammatory again, and it's thought to make an excellent treatment because the leaves are so large that when you heat the leaves, they can be applied to a large area of the body when you need heat to an area. So
It's almost like a split-leaf philodendron look, too. There's also a
Yes,
split-leaf
yes,
philodendron.
yes.
Might be in that same family.
But the Swiss cheese plant doesn't vine like the
I see.
philodendron, so it can once it gets a little older and the
Start to
leaves
droop.
start to droop down. You can then, but it does not require a lot of light or moisture. This is a
It's a
good one
low
in my
light.
house because. You know, I'm trying to teach my plants how to get up on the sink and water themselves, and so far I have no luck.
No luck with that.
Nope,
No.
nope. Our next plant, which is, I think, probably one of the most unusual ones, is the shrimp plant. Now, really, doesn't that look like a
It's
shrimp?
like a little shrimp. It
Yeah,
does.
yeah.
But it comes in different colors. I think it's
Right.
pink or
Yellow,
yellow. White. Is there white? I think there's a white
There's a
one.
white.
Yeah.
And those are flowers that actually come out and overlap each other so that it looks like, as it continues to bloom, it looks like a shrimp.
It does look like a shrimp. Yeah.
So, and it's probably a plant that, once again, all these have a use because of being tropical plants in the indigenous people. This they use the leaves, not the flower, but the leaves to treat fevers, coughs, and hair loss. Now,
Whoa.
if you can think of, coughs, fever, and hair loss, what a combination.
Yeah, from one end to the other.
Does
like
it?
on
Yeah,
one-
does it all.
It does all. Okay.
You have to allow it to dry out between waterings because it doesn't like to have wet feet all the time, and it needs bright light.
Right.
So,
And that's one of the problems with houseplants is people overwater.
yes,
So
yes.
and we're not going to do that. So, you know, just be sure to, I wanted to bring one of the testers. If you get a tester, moisture tester, that tells you how moist things are,
Oh, yeah.
you know, I use that a lot outside, but inside it's very important. If you have a large plant and you feel the top and it feels dry, that doesn't mean it's not really wet at the bottom. So I use the moisture tester and go down, and if it's still on the wet side, when you go down close to the bottom, I don't water, because it means there's a lot of water down there. So the moisture meter really helps with your houseplants. And like I said, the worst thing you can do is overwater, and that's
Right.
what most people do is
Right.
overwater.
And that causes so many things, yellowing of
Yeah,
leaves
and
and
invites insects sometimes too.
right,
So,
right. And we don't want
no,
any of that
we
in
don't
our
want
house.
that. No, we just want pretty plants.
That's
all
right.
we want.
That's right.
So
Ones that can water themselves.
we could. Well, you have to invent that. You'll have to invent that.
I'll work on it.
Work on that.
I'll work on
Okay.
it.
And then there's not too much to do outside once you've taken care of your plants inside. But there's a few things you need to do. Your annuals, the pansies look great because it's been so warm. But just kind of watch them for moisture, make sure they get enough moisture. We haven't had very much moisture at all this year with the second driest November in history. So
Oh my goodness.
it's just been bad.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and then bulbs.
Well,
have you planted
hopefully
bulbs?
you've got, yes, I planted my Bella Vista daffodil
Okay,
bulbs.
I still have a package of those to get in.
And a few other spring bulbs, but fall now is a good time to get your bulbs in. And mulch to protect them, and just remember that we have critters that love bulbs. However, they don't like daffodil bulbs.
No, they don't.
Tulip bulbs, on the other hand,
It's
they
like
can't
candy.
keep in the
It's
ground.
like candy.
So
Well, you can plant those and put some chicken wire on top.
I've done that, and it was
it
very
does.
successful.
It does keep the
So,
critters out.
yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then the roses. After a few freezes, we haven't had too many freezes. I think we had one light freeze. We haven't had too many
Right.
the beginning of December here. But you want to wait till it have a couple good freezes and then mulch your roses. Put a lot more mulch on for the winter. And you don't prune your roses. Wait till February or March. You know, don't cut them back now. Excuse me. If you trim them now, they may throw out some new growth because it's been so warm. Well, then that new growth get frozen and it might go down the stem and you really have problems. So just don't prune till February or March. So,
And those of you that have lawns, you want to really make sure that you get your leaves off your lawns, because a full-size leaf, and I don't know if you've looked at some of the leaves of...
they're huge.
An oak leaf is just huge, and it will smother your grass.
Right.
So get them off, and then don't walk on your frozen grass. If you're out, moving around in your yard, try not to, go
yeah,
back
it's
and
really
forth on
cold.
the...
You can hear the crunch if you walk
Right,
on the frozen
right.
grass. Not good.
That's right. That's right. But you remember too, or you use all your leaves to mulch your gardens in
I
the
do.
spring.
I'm shredding them and using them for mulch.
Yes,
Yeah.
and your gardens are beautiful.
Well,
So-
it's very good for the gardens. So, and then salt. You can't do salt.
No, don't-
Don't use salt on your driveway because then it's going to go onto your grass, and then that's going to kill your grass.
That's right.
So there's other things you can use.
That's right.
For melting snow, or
That's right.
don't use salt. And your trees and shrubs, just remember to monitor the water. Like I said, I keep saying that over and over, but we have to monitor the water, especially if you just planted them this fall,
Right.
Or this
Right.
summer. And then prune the evergreens. You can prune your evergreens a little for holiday decorations.
Oh,
the
right,
evergreens
right.
can be
I've got-
pruned,
yep.
a little later in the year.
Yeah.
And you can take a little holly or a little evergreen for your Christmas things.
Decorations and stuff.
Yeah.
We've talked about tropicals and houseplants. The two that we didn't talk about, however, is the poinsettia, very popular this time of the year. And you want to make sure that they get plenty of light and moisture. And then if you have a live Christmas tree, always check the water.
Oh, sometimes you have to water twice a day.
Exactly, especially in the beginning when you first.
Because your house is so dry, it's really going to dry up.
That's right.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind.
Okay, and then your perennials. I don't trim back too many perennials. I kind of leave them for the birds to get any seeds. Excuse me, my allergies are still kicking up. And you don't want to trim your salvias. I keep saying don't trim your salvias. That'll
Because
kill
that's
them. Yeah, it's hollow. Anything hollow, the water will sit in there, and it won't be good. So don't trim your salvias. So, but I leave a lot of my mums and everything up. Then when it snows, you have all this texture out there.
Oh,
in the
that's
snow
true.
too.
That's
so
true.
It's kind of
I
pretty in
keep
the
my
winter.
tall grasses with the plumes up all winter
Oh, yeah.
long because
Yeah.
that's very
Just
pretty.
adds a little something to look at in the winter.
Right.
And don't
right.
forget to feed the birds. You know, the birds just need so much feed.
Well,
in the
that's why
winter.
if you leave the
Seed
brown-eyed
pods.
Susan seeds or that sort of thing out, the birds love that sort of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So yes.
And the colder it gets, the more protein they need to keep them warm. So
Right.
put your
And
suet out for the winter.
And water. They do make a heated water bird bath. So water is very important for them.
Right. I have little squirrels going after the water in my saucers, as a matter of fact, outside.
Oh, okay.
Even the squirrels are looking for water. So, okay. And if you have any other questions about gardening, you can do your research in the cold weather on the Bella Vista Garden Club website.
It's got a lot of information
A lot of
there.
information. And the Master Gardener website also, BentonCountyGardening.org. And
Our next meeting of the Bella Vista Garden Club will be January 24th, which is the fourth Wednesday of the month, and it's at the Bella Vista Community Church, and it starts at 11 o'clock, and the topic this time is going to be on beekeeping. And I think that's something very important.
It's important. Bees are very important.
We also have a horticultural segment, and if you have any questions, it's kind of a question and answer period about
Right. So we have
the
a Master Gardener panel. We'll be there and answer questions.
And guests are always welcome.
Yeah,
We'd
we'd
love to have you.
guests.
If you're interested in gardening, even if you're not interested in gardening, you just want to meet some wonderful people, come to the club meeting.
That's right. And we'll be kicking off a new year.
Yes. Yes, it's a busy year for
It's going to
the
be
Bella
busy.
Vista
We're
Garden
going to have a
Club.
lot of good things coming up.
Yep.
So, well, thank you, Barb, for joining me today.
Well, I hope that you learned a lot of very interesting things from.
I learned a lot about the plants I already have that I didn't know. So that's wonderful. And thank you for sharing. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And we hope you have a wonderful Christmas and joyous holiday seasoning. And I hope you will join us next month. And we'll be getting ready for a new gardening year and having new programs about new subjects. And until then, don't forget to stop and smell the roses.